Hey, and welcome to the Full 42. We're talking about the best year for movies, in my opinion, 1999. Are you saying no already?
This is a tough one. No, it's a brutal list, but we'll get into it. I have a thing to say, but we'll get into it.
We're going to talk about that. We get some show and tell and announcements and blah 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 before all our banter and BS and stuff. So it'll happen. So in about 30 minutes, we'll get to the the list of stuff. Happy Monday, everybody! I know we already got some people in. Steven seeing and action. Yeah, we were only 1 minute late. That's not bad.
We're never late. We are perfectly on time every time.
Like a wizard, right? A wizard is never late. Yeah, I mean, we hit the button when we're ready, I guess.
Yeah.
But YouTube says that we're late, so yeah,
whatever.
But yeah, so
we want to make sure it's exactly 9 o'clock. If we go at 9, it might be too early. It might be 8:50.
You mean 8 o'clock?
9. No, I mean real time, not your fake.
8 o'clock real time, central time.
Oh. Also, I like that we're looking into the future in this episode. I have to say, we're so confident that we're going to go over our top 5 from 19,999.
What? What'd I do? Oh no! I messed up the title, didn't I?
You did.
Well,
we're talking about the top 5 movies from just before the clock strikes the year 20,000.
Okay, well, thousands and thousands of years from now, they're going to get nostalgic about 1999, so they're going to bring them back.
Sure. Yeah, I believe it.
1999. And I can't change it now because it's live too.
Yeah.
Oh well. Why'd you just figure that out now? We've been talking before the show. You didn't see that before?
Nope. Just looked at it. I just saw it.
Fine. Well, gotta live with it now. I don't even know if we can edit. I might be able to edit it in YouTube later, but it might lose if I do, it might lose all the live chat, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think it's hysterical. I think we should leave it. There you go. I
try to make it professional looking, and then you revel in it whenever I make a mistake.
You put an extra 9. I put a whole bunch of dots here because that's how professional we are.
Yeah, that's true. If I was trying to be professional, I would have moved stuff by now, right?
Very true.
Like this big hand that normally covers up your name, but that's why you put the dots. I like that if people don't know that, it looks like I'm a little like hammy, like I'm like, it's Chris Strain, ... and Michael.
Right.
Michael, whatever. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like if you know, you know. It's not one of those things.
Yeah. Or it will explain it every time.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's 1990. You think you're gonna still, if we ever get to the 5-digit year, you think they're gonna still do the years like that, or like reset like after blah blah blah, after AI or whatever it is, that's gonna reset the years or something?
Oh yeah, I don't know. If we make it past the year 10,000, I have no clue.
I mean, no reason for us to care, but yeah. Fast and Furious 20. Family. Yeah. So anyway, 1999 is the actual year we're going through. Lots of awesome movies. I would easily, at a drop of the hat, I would rewatch the top 20 on my list. Like you don't have to.
Yeah. I have 20 on my list, but I don't know if I can watch a couple of these again.
I have like 35.
That's not bad for this year. I mean, I figured you'd have way more.
Well, I mean, there were more that I've seen, but I was like, never get to those. Don't need to talk about, or I don't remember much about them. And I'm sure we're going to step on each other's toes a bit on some of these.
Oh, right. I wanted to do that thing. I think this one.
Are you guessing my top 5? Is that what you're doing?
This one, yep. And this one are almost inevitable that you're going to talk about them.
Funny. I like what you did there.
I thought that was good.
Um,
We'll see.
yeah, no games or anything afterwards. I don't think so. I don't have a thing. I don't know unless you're springing something on me.
No, I didn't have any. I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything planned.
Yeah, so we're gonna do. I can talk about these movies at length, so I think we're gonna spend some time on them.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, there are also movies that I'm sure won't surprise anyone. There's one on here that we'll talk about later because it's not in my top 5. That if people haven't seen, they should. Well, 2. This one too should be seen.
So I was going to ask you at the end of this, because at the end of this we would have covered all the 1990s, right?
Yeah,
year
late
by year.
19th century, the late 20th century.
Oh, why do you guys say it like that?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's making the grays feel grayer.
Mhm.
But we'd covered every single. I was going to ask you if there's, because we talked about, oh, I hadn't seen that, or you hadn't seen this one. What movie out of all of those lists would you say I definitely have to see that I didn't see, right? But we'll go through this list because you might be surprised that I hadn't seen something here.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go back to 1998, and I think that would be. There's one from last year. The last year that we talked about that I think is one you need to see. I forget which one it was, but I think I was heavy on one of those. If you hadn't seen it, you should see it. Was it Rob? It wasn't Robin Williams. I forget which one. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But I think the one that I would recommend the most is from 1998.
Well, wait, because you don't know what I hadn't seen this year.
True. But I mean,
there's one that might pop out as like you would have guessed that I'd seen it, and I haven't.
Yeah.
It's one of these holes in geekdom that I'm missing, and I
need to if it's this, no way.
Yeah, it might be. We'll see. Before we get to all that, though, we should do the announcements and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, we should. Also, hey,
Alan. Yeah. So announcements. Go. You're the one with announcements. Go.
Again with nothing. You need to work. You have a homework assignment. You need to work on announcements. Go find a new bug.
About any of the stuff I work on.
But just go outside and find a bug you've never seen before. And that could be an announcement like, hey, I saw a bug I've never seen before.
It's Texas. I've seen bugs you've never seen before.
Right. That's what I'm saying for you. It should be a bug you've never seen before.
That's show and tell. Yeah.
It would be a big announcement.
No announcements for me. What you got?
Whatever.
I'm boring.
You are boring. What do I have? I have this. I can talk. I want to talk about this.
Yeah, see, that's a proper announcement. Fundraisers, stuff like that. Yeah. I got nothing like that going on.
Is that glary? Well, I can't leave it there because it's gonna be glary. But yeah, if you're local or semi-local,
ooh, Matt, that's a good guess. We'll see if you're right, Matt.
That's the one that I thought.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
November 16th, 10 a.m. to November 17th, 10 a.m. We're doing a fundraiser. We're partnered with Extra Life for Upstate and the Collegian, the hotel that QSCon is at. And there'll be raffles and prizes and giveaways and all that stuff. So if you're around or local, or like I said, semi-local, reach out. I'll give you more information. But yeah, do that thing.
Cool. That's a proper announcement.
Yeah, that's a couple weeks away. So there's that.
You want me to show off bugs?
I got to keep the bar low for you, man. Like, what do I? Your announcement could be,
here's a fundraiser to help people's lives and all this stuff, and I'm like, I found a bug. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
What you should do is have a dry erase board in the background, and it should be number of days, number of consecutive days with power. And every day keep going up and up and up, and then eventually that'll be a big announcement when you have no power.
We've had that announcement already a couple times, so that's what Texas is about. But any new bug? Yeah. So, any other announcements?
Not right now.
You got a show and tell.
I have Lucas painting.
I thought you had a show and tell. Oh, we do Lucas paintings first, though, right?
What show and tell?
You were talking about it right before.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not bringing it on screen. One, the box is too fucking heavy. I'll bitch about it, but I'm not bringing it on screen.
All right,
There's
then
no
just tell. Just make it a tell. We do the Luca painting first if you want.
Story time. Eyes wide. Oh God. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Oh God.
Bailey is helping me with the fundraiser. I don't know if you just tuned in or you saw I was talking about that, but Bailey's the one that's helping me out with this the most exclusively, actually. Yeah, that movie is a hot mess.
I think he took out Batman. If you
Don't talk. Oh, where's Batman? He's not protecting the puppet anymore.
he's right there. He's been knocked out.
It looks like he's turned the wrong way there, Chris.
You got to make the puppet happy.
Jesus Christ.
I need a name for the puppet.
Yeah, that movie was so fucking. It was almost as bad as that one with
What are you talking about? Eyes Wide Shut. We got a story.
What was the name of the one with Vince Vaughn, D'Onofrio? We just talked about it. Vince Vaughn, D'Onofrio, and Jennifer Lopez.
No idea.
What the hell was the name of that one? It was almost as bad. The Cell. The Cell is garbage.
Oh,
And it's almost. Oh my God. It's almost as bad as that. Eyes Wide Shut was. What in the hell's going on?
we'll get into that. I actually have it on my list. I liked Eyes Wide Shut.
Oof,
I thought it was fascinating. But The Cell was not a great movie, but visually it was amazing.
Visually beautiful. D'Onofrio is amazing in almost everything he does, and that was the only thing in that movie.
That horse scene haunts me every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, where it dices up and
Yep.
Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Some of these. This was a crazy movie here, so we'll get into that.
We will.
You get a Luca painting for us?
I do. I have Lucas painting. All right. So for those that don't are new, which I'm sure you maybe there's
We don't get new people. We lose people. That's all that happens.
Especially 19,000 years from now, when new people are watching.
This will be in a time capsule or something. Yeah.
At some point in the past, there was this young kid named Luca, who will be 3 in a couple weeks, November 2nd. For the past 2 years, mostly in December, he's been painting watercolor. Mika has actually been doing a lot too, on 4x4 canvas with watercolor. And every Monday, I grab one of his offerings and show it on screen, and I will put it on the bottom, the dates and everything. But we kind of go over it like a Rorschach test and figure out why Chris is demented this week.
No, why? I wasn't the demented one last week, was I? Was I?
Yes.
I saw a turkey. That wasn't bad.
But
other people saw some stuff.
Dead and bleeding and disemboweled or something.
I mean, but there was a turkey. You don't have to add the other part. Yeah, well, it's in the painting. It's not me.
Sure.
But everybody in the comments, you can say what you see. I'll try to hold off until we get some ideas.
All right. So this one is from October 10th. So just a little while ago. And here's today's.
Ooh. See, you're showing us some dark ones. That's all I'm saying. Looks dark.
I'm not doing it on purpose, and this one's pretty obvious.
Obvious.
Yep.
So this one should be a thing, is what you're saying?
I mean, I don't see why you don't see it.
Huh. Yeah.
The automatic.
Automatic. Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Let's see what people say in the comments.
Oh, nice, Brandon. Brandon, you should have went to Cleveland last night and gone to the hall induction.
Oh, we got a Mr. Potato Head.
Okay. All right. Mr. Potato Head. Or Mr. Either way.
A grizzly bear. Well, probably the misses because of the pink bow, I bet. A grizzly bear going to town.
Also, Diana, sorry about the Mets. Too soon?
Tiki dog with bat wings. tiki dog. I don't know. I get Princess Bride feels from it. Somewhere.
All right,
Princess
Rob.
Bride.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
Is it like the chocolate nugget that he had to eat to come back alive?
Oh yeah. The chocolate helps it go down smoother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm seeing like my first thought was like some rotten kidneys on the ground, but not my second thought was then. Do you remember the California raisins?
Yeah, I do.
So that big brown thing, California raisin, right? And he's like shooting a gun at you, and that's what the big colors are coming from. The sparks. It's dark. You called it this time. It's dark.
I like that Eric says that it's a tropical parrot and then double down on it's a tropical parrot. Like there's nothing else this thing could be but a tropical parrot.
Yeah, the Easter Island head, same thing to me,
Mhm.
kind of like with the
The Moai statue.
raisins.
Yep.
It looks like two people hugging with the blue as an arm. I see like a seahorse head in the orange, which is nice. I like seahorses.
Yeah, a murder raisin. Yep.
He's a murder raisin. Yeah, murder raisin. Is that how you spell raisin?
No,
Huh.
man.
Have I been miss? Is it iron? I was thinking it was. Oh, I was thinking it was an. I was wrong both ways. Raisin. You're right. It is iron.
No sideways. This is it.
Is it sideways?
the
Yeah.
investigation.
Yeah, you can't turn it sideways. But yeah, I don't know where the Princess Bride thing comes from. Why are you zooming in on the blue thing? All right, tell me what you see, because
you get different colors when I bring it closer. I can kind of get the light to shine differently, and you see the colors a little better. A potato Thor.
Fine. Is snow going down the wall?
Is that the axe?
What axe?
Sam's saying he sees potato Thor, and I'm wondering if that's the axe.
Potato Thor.
Or the hammer.
You mean a hammer?
No, the axe.
Oh, you mean the Kingslayer thing? Okay.
Yes.
The blue is Thor's hammer.
Okay. Interesting.
The hammer is my. No, that's a different one. It's definitely an angry potato.
You have my bow.
Have you seen the comic strip that is like, oh, this bad guy killed my brother, and so I want to go in vengeance, and the teammate's like, you have my bow, and another fighter's like, you have my sword. The necromancer's like, and your brother. This comic strip's funnier than he's saying it, but
Angry eyes.
And your angry eyes.
Was that you? It sounded like Luca.
No, that was me. When she says she's packing his angry eyes.
Right. But the voice sounds just like Luca. Stormbreaker, not Kingslayer, right? Stormbreaker.
Chris doesn't
all
know
right. All right. So what is it? What is it supposed to be?
So okay, before it was named, and
hold on, we're losing you.
He named it back on October 10th. What? Why?
I don't know. Your internet's all glitchy and stuff. All right, try it again and just refocus.
Of course it is. Yeah, I've got one bar.
All right, we can hear you now. So what's it named? Fuzzy Man.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So he named it on October 10th.
Okay. What's that?
And I just asked him again what this was. And he said the same thing that he called it on October 10th. I have my own interpretation before he named it. It's clearly a camel.
A camel? That's a messed
Clearly
up camel. What did you see before he named it?
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
Yeah, look at that. Look at his eyes and his nose.
Yeah, I could
And
see it. I mean, it's the same Easter Island face or the raisin face that we're looking at, but
Mhm.
that's the most bird-like camel I've ever seen. It's a camel face close up. Yeah, I could see it.
Yep.
Or, someone's
got?
kidneys on the ground. All right. You need a better camera and internet.
I need a better everything. I still have 1 bar. It's showing me 1 bar.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the picture's kind of clearing up now, though.
Yeah, sorry about that. I can just hold this up instead.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Camo. Okay, we don't have a show and tell. Why'd I click that? I meant to do the like and subscribe thing.
Do that.
No show and tell. What was the game you were talking about before we hit live?
Oh, what I was starting to rant about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you out there were lucky enough to receive their copy of Dungeons of Infinity this past week. It's 2.5 years late, which is fine. I'm not bitching.
Late
about
or like 2.5 years since they began and said, okay, we're going to make it, or 2.5 years after the time they said it would deliver.
That.
Ah.
So I'm not complaining about
it
that.
is Infinity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I get the wait time. I get the things happen. I get you got to go back to the drawing board because the insert was wrong. I get there's not enough water in the Panama Canal, so your boat gets stuck up there for a couple weeks. Like, I understand things happen, so I'm not complaining about that. I wouldn't even complain about the 50-something page rule book that this game has. That's not even the scenario book that's nice and spiral bound. I 50 pages is a lot for a game. Okay. My complaint that I was bitching about, it looks pretty. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got cool art. It looks like it's going to be a wonderful game. It's got game trays for your player board. Like, it looks really good. But you'd think, especially now meaning in the year 2024, not 19,999.
By then, we should have all this board game stuff.
For those that are listening, if you're still doing this in the year 20,000, you should just take yourself out back. In 50-something pages of a rule book that you have, not once, or not even an insert or sleeve or something in the inside of this game that shows you how to put your shit away in your multi-insert system. You have all of these compartments with all of these things that could be anything, and you have no way to tell us how to put the stuff away. Like, you're just leaving it open. Like, put it in a damn diagram. Put in a diagram. And not to brag, but one of the things DeVito did for the Stuff of Legend, on the box bottom, on the outside, you have 4 panels that most people put some bullshit. Put it there. You don't have to print out another sheet for how to put it away. And I get that adding another page to a rule book isn't just adding another page, it's adding 4 more pages. I get that. So if you can't plan ahead and you don't have a place to put it on the bottom half of the end credits or something, then put it on the inside box cover. Some way to get us to put the shit back. It's really weird that more people aren't doing that. And I get, like, a game like Charcuterie or a game like Flip 7, it doesn't need that. I understand that. But a game that has a bunch of bits and a bunch of compartments in the damn box that's this thick, like, do better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Stone Mayer Games that started the diagrams of how to put stuff away on Scythe. I think that was the first time I ever saw it. And it's on the bottom box side, right? It's a good place. For Andromeda, we put ours in a page in a folder on the inside of the box.
Right.
Yeah, but something. We want something.
Something. Not all games need it, but those that have a lot of bits like that, for Christ's sake, put in some sort of diagram. Like I'm hoping, especially when I see this giant insert or instruction book come out, I'm hoping somewhere in there was like, it doesn't have to be the second page. Like, step 1, punch all the cardboard. Cool. Step 2, put it all away. You don't have to do that, but like, give us something, man.
I will say Unconscious Minds reference was good, but I don't like that they tried to store the solo in all these different compartments. Because I don't play solo, so I don't want to have to get it out of my cards and all that stuff every time I play. So I put all the solo stuff in a bag and just threw it in a spot that it fit.
Right.
So,
yeah, you don't need it for certain things.
Which is weird because they have their own tray for the expansion itself, which is nice, really nice. Right. They should have just thought that with the solo. But anyway. Right. No, I agree. You need to have diagrams for these big deluxe games and stuff like that. This looks pretty cool. Does that thing fit into? Have you tried it yet?
If it's in the box, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean they stack on each other, so I don't know how it's going to be once I put that cardboard player thing in there. I don't know if they'll stack as nicely.
Yeah.
But and while I'm at it, like I don't even know if maybe they did, and I'll backtrack if I'm incorrect on this one. But one of the other things, and maybe I won't say them specifically because I don't know, but one of the other things, in addition to making sure there's some sort of diagram to help us put shit back, make sure you forward think. If you're going to put compartments for cards, make sure you forward think that people sleeve their cards. Because if you have especially if you're spending for game trays and shit, if you have this insert in there that's supposed to be specific, and then you give us this instruction on where the cards go, but I sleeve and then they don't fit, well, the insert is garbage. It's useless. So like either think ahead, like what you did with Troubles, where you can do, if you're sleeving it, you turned it one way, and if not, you turn it the other, or just give a little bit of extra room, like do something.
I haven't seen anybody ever use that. I always thought that was Aaron's idea. I always thought it was so clever. I thought it would get picked up and stuff, and nobody ever uses that. But
great idea. The only thing it does is if you do it the other way, then you're wasting space. Unless it's in the same, you just turn it in the same space, not that it's hovering over a bunch, like a gap.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, like if the card goes in this way, it can also go in this way, but sleeved, and it creates a little gap that way, but that gap is for you to grab.
Right.
So either way, it works as the gap, the finger holes,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. But, and I know Noah from Game Trace, he thinks about those things. Now it's up to the publisher if they really push for it or want it and, stuff like that. So.
But I mean, it's not on the design. This is not on the design of Infinity at all. It's straight up on the publisher.
It looks like a cool game.
Manufacturing.
Dungeon crawler, I imagine.
Yeah, it's a dungeon crawler. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's got that, like, you can play it cooperatively and you can play it competitively, I think, thing which you love. But just forward think, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't think it's just me. I think there's more people that
No, it's definitely not you. No, I agree. Yeah, it is difficult to do. I will put that little defense in there. It's very difficult to do because oftentimes the trades are the last thing to be made. And so because they have to be, you have to make all the rest of the game so he knows how to fit it, right? Or anybody who's making the trades needs to know how to make it. So whenever you're, 2.5 years late, if you're, trying to get it done, that's another sheet or image or something that you then have to go through and make and hope nothing else changes in the process. It's a lot of work.
No, I call bullshit. Because what do you get before you hit print on a project? You get the white box sample. And the white box sample has all of the stuff in it. This is what the punch boards are going to be like. This is how it's going to be layered in your box. This is what, like, even then when you come in with 4 punch boards, right? And then you punch out the stuff to put in your insert, you're not thinking about that 4 punch board gap that's now going to be created. So when you turn your box sideways, all the shit falls out of it anyway.
You should think of that.
Exactly. So like put on the thing, don't toss these, put them under the insert, like that kind of forward thinking. But when you get your white box sample, you have all the components that are going to be in the game to the spec of this is how it's going to be layered. Instruction book, punch boards, whatever the fuck, and this thing. You know what I mean? So you have all the stuff in the box. There's no way you're testing that white box sample and not punching it out and putting it in your insert, where then you can then go to your file and make that map happen.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you can't do it. Obviously you can, but it's a process that you have to wait for A to be done before you could do B, and B to be done before you do C. And when you are 2.5 years late, sometimes you're just going to have to be like, you know what, screw it. Let's just push it through.
But 2.5 years of, why don't we just have a one page that we put in the box? Like,
because you have to, that's the last thing you can make. It is.
I get it, but when you're hitting print on a thing, you've already gone through put a spacer then, like image coming soon, like put something, be like, okay, when we get the white box sample and we put everything back.
But it's still the last thing you get to make.
Sure. But then that's the last thing you have to do before you hit print. Don't hit print until you have an insert map of this is how you put bits away.
Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying it's one of the most difficult processes to get that done in the timely manner that you need to get it done.
Lazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say lazy, but it's difficult.
Doesn't
mean it shouldn't be done. It should be done, especially if you're a Kickstarter. You owe it to your backers. But
just in general, it's like not putting polybags in your game when you have a bunch of bits that need to go in a bag. Put the bags in there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, would you put it if you had a whole bunch of bits for a player, like your player bits, or you had a bunch of punch boards for like cardboard money or something? How do you not put a polybag in there for them to be put in? Like, how are you not including
before the bags, Matt? He was talking about the instructions on how to put everything into, game trays and stuff.
Exclusive game trays or upgraded inserts, not typical bullshit inserts that you get a Ziploc bag for your cards and tuck it in there. Like actual game trays type inserts where you have a bunch of stuff that has to go back and you don't have an explanation on how to put them in there. Drives me nuts.
No, don't do that. Only do that if it doesn't work. But if it is a functioning, well-working insert, keep those. I mean, I used to design those, so it breaks my heart when I hear it. Just do it.
And then that led me to, like, nowadays not including a poly bag for your bits. Makes no sense.
That's crazy. And what's weird is I've had games come to me from printers, and they'll just throw in bags, and oftentimes those bags don't fit anything. And you're like, why is there a bag this big when the cards are poker size? You know what I mean? Like what is this bag for? And I go, I don't know. We just throw in 10 bags. And you have to go back to them and go, okay, I want this many bags and this. It's just an ongoing process of back and forth. Just it's so much stuff to make these huge games.
It is, but what a difference it makes from those companies that do that, right? Like, you figure out those games that do that have the right polybags, that have the map of how to put shit back. Like, those games stand out because look at what they did. They took time. And if they took the time to do that stuff, that means they took the time to do all the other stuff that makes a good game.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you should appreciate it when you see it done well in games, right?
Yep. That's why even like Disabled Board Games or Burnt Island, right? When they do their upgraded components, they give you a one sheet that lets you know what your upgraded components were and what they replaced in the game. Like it says standard edition and deluxe edition. And it's got those rows of like, this is what the standard has. This is what your game has because you upgraded all these bits. It's very specific and it helps with like, well, what the fuck is this piece? Oh, it's this piece. It replaced it. Like it helps with just the overall experience of that game. Because the first thing you're doing is unboxing it, figuring out where all the shit's going. Am I putting player bags together? Is everything in just one bag and we're separating it out? Do I need to separate the resources? That's the first thing you're doing with games. So you want that experience to be like, oh shit, this is good. Because then it just gets like shitty after that.
Yeah, and I feel that. I mean, like I mentioned before, like the Unconscious Mind did a lot of this stuff really good. Yeah,
What
I
an
haven't
impact that
seen this yet.
has. When you see that thing, that means that company, and I love them to death. They're amazing. That company takes the time to look at that shit.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Yeah,
So then
like
what
I
other-
said, with
what other
Unconscious
things happen?
Mind, yeah, with Unconscious Mind, they did a lot of great stuff with that. They even have the diagram and stuff, but they also didn't tell me what pieces were. Like, I have a meeple, and then I have another meeple that's almost exactly the same that came in a bag that said replace the other meeple with this. But then because I got the deluxe stuff, I have a mini that's supposed to replace both of those. Why even give me those? I don't need those.
That to play devil's advocate, that could just be an assembly line type of thing where it was just easier to put it in rather than
It is.
pull them out. Right.
Yeah, it definitely is. But just a little letter that would have been like, "Hey, do this and this," and it would have been a little bit easier for me. But
For sure.
I just got, speaking of inserts and stuff, I just got the Explorers of Navoria. I had to look it up with the exact little, yeah. It looks really cool. I like the colors and the artwork and stuff and like that. No insert, and I have the deluxe version. I hadn't seen that in a long time. Zero insert. I hadn't seen that in a long time. But you know what? Doesn't need it. Like, I was like, I can't really argue about it because they gave you the bags for the bits. It all fits in there. Yeah. But it's interesting because I got the deluxe is basically just like, instead of the punch board resources, swords or whatever, you get wood bits, right?
Yeah,
so it's not super deluxe or anything like that. But I was surprised. It's been a long time since I've opened up a game, especially a Kickstarter deluxe version, that had no insert. Right. I thought it was, when I first opened it, I thought, oh, it's probably one of those build your own cardboard ones, which I don't mind whenever they're really nice. But I was just surprised. Not even a complaint, just interested.
Yeah, if it's one of those like old school Fantasy Flight cardboard ones that you don't really need anyway, then why have it?
Oh, I've seen many useless versions of that. And it's weird because printers often just put them in there in the quote, even if you don't you have to say, take that out of there too.
My biggest, I know you worked on it and you had you had nothing to do with what I'm about to argue about, but with Last Light, that extra box came with a Game Trays insert that you literally threw out. Like, how much did it cost to have another Games Tray insert made in that in the upgrade box or the expansion box that you don't need, that you literally throw out? Like that was, I mean,
yeah, I don't have that game, so I don't know.
You still don't have that game?
No. I'm doing just as a side thing for fun. I'm doing a database of all the games I own, and yeah, it'll take a while. But as I have a column in there for listing what I did with some of them, right? And I got like, maybe 100 games in or something like that, and mentioned a few of them. And I thought, I'll never have Last Light on this list, to where I can hit a button and see all the things I worked on. Yeah. That sucks. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's a miss. That's unfortunate.
Oh well. Well, we got way sidetracked into I haven't been reading what people were saying. What you can earn.
I like how you said 30 minutes. We'll get to the list in 30 minutes, and here we are,
right?
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you think so? The packing and stuff is actually worse in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing is you get foil cards and Unconscious Mind.
Brandon, I am so disappointed in that statement, Brandon.
It does feel that way.
Bunch of components that will help you in prototyping.
I don't know if you can use those cards.
You put them as backers. You print up on a printer. You cut them out. You use that as your backer.
I don't even know if they're not poker sides. They're like weird tarot size, but smaller. Like they're their own size.
The foil cards are bigger than the standard cards?
No, they're the same size, but but those cards that he's talking about are like a weird kind of
Okay,
where
they're
they are, but
specific. I saw standard cards, and if they're
yeah.
standard
I
cards,
don't
those
think they're
are
tarot. They look smaller.
okay. Oh, there you go. See, Eric and I, same page, man.
Oh, I do that. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing with those meeples and stuff. Obviously use those for other stuff. But yeah,
Okay, all right.
it's true.
Yeah, just cut them.
Some games provide slaves for their weird cards, like Andromeda did.
Yeah, that's what you should do. All right, enough bitching. Just do better, for fuck's sake. Do better.
Do better.
Add poly bags. Put in a damn diagram.
I like that this is a 2.5 year late Kickstarter, and your complaint is about the insert diagram.
How do you not have it in there? I don't understand how that's.
Okay, I'm getting you started again.
I don't get it. I honestly, I don't get it. I don't get it.
All right, let's jump into the list before because we could do this all day. I mean, it's forever, right?
Yeah, before an episode where we don't have a topic, you can just start bringing up, I don't know, games that have shitty inserts.
Let's go down the list of all our recently delivered Kickstarters and start complaining.
Yeah, or just get me on a list of games that have bad inserts, and then I'll just rant for 40 minutes.
Yeah, inserts are tough, man. They're really tough, especially with lots of pieces. But anyway,
sure.
All right, so top 5 movies from decade. As I said, this is a huge year, and like usual, leaving Star Wars and Star Trek out of it. And of course, this is the year Episode 1 came out.
Yep.
So that's a subject all in its own. We've talked about Star Wars at length on this show and stuff. So that was probably the biggest thing that happened to me that year, movies wise, though. So it should be mentioned, right? Star Wars coming back was huge, and I love the prequels. No hate there. So. And I always have. It's not like hated for a while and now I do. Like I always have. Unapologetic. So unapologetic.
No apology. Unapologetic. I saw it in Midtown Manhattan at an IMAX, huge screen, like almost dead center of the theater, and I'll never forget the sound, like that THX sound with the woofers and everything. And then when that Star Wars hit, like I still get goosebumps when I watch a movie that has that anyway. Like when the screen goes black and then Star Wars comes up, it just does something.
Oh, even the little spotlights, the 20th century thing. I mean, even that was like, whoa, people just going nuts in the theater. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
probably one of the very few movies I could really say I was literally on the edge of my seat for during the entire Phantom Menace fight and everything.
Yeah, the Duel of the Fates. Yeah.
I mean, you have to remember that the lightsaber battles before then was just like 2 old men doing this, right? So, those were lightsabers. In case there's
that was good.
That's a lightsaber fight. We won't go into that.
No.
But anyway, so we're supposed to skip the whole Star Wars talk and stuff because that's a thing.
No, you did say to mention it. I mean, it was a tremendous impact that year, right? I remember how long it took us to get down there. I remember waiting in line. I remember when Darth Maul's sword, the second part of it opened up. Like there were a lot of things that happened in that movie, as cheesy as a lot of it was, where I was like, like just shaking my head. That it was, you're right, like edge of my seat the entire time. That lives free in my mind forever because of how impactful that was. Because now we're at a different age, right? Like Return of the Jedi was 83 and I was born in 76. And I remember it, but it didn't have that much of an impact. I was the target market for all the Kenner figures, right? All the Ewoks and all the stuffed animals and all the whatever. Right. But now you're talking about 1999. I'm in a different place. And now I'm watching like what I grew up watching so often, but now I'm in the theater. Like it was a totally different experience.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk forever about this movie and stuff, but I will say I was in the newspaper for being second in line for it because they went out there looking for lines. This was before lines even was a thing in movies, right?
Yeah.
But and they misquoted me, make me sound even geekier than I was. But yeah, whatever. It was one of their. This could be a whole thing. Like one of the best lightsaber fights, right? It was one of the best ones, especially for the nostalgia of seeing that for the first time. I mean, whenever like Eric said, whenever the second blade popped out, that wasn't in trailers. You didn't know that was going to happen when you first saw it. You're like, what? Like it just blew your mind. It wasn't in comic books or anything before that.
No, and I mean, if you had a keen eye when they first fought in the desert, you were thinking, why the hell is this thing so gigantic? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so episode 1, 1999, big year for that. Other than that, we have probably some of the most influential movies.
I forget he's 92. But yes, you're right.
Yeah. I think I was 21 in 99. All right.
I was 23. Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah,
so that was one of the things I wanted to say, and I said I'd get to it. I think there have been other lists, other years that you can go into 100, 150, 200, and you might find one that resonates, right? That sticks out because of who you watched it with or where you were or whatever. And this one, I think there's a tremendous divide between the movies that came out that were just good and the movies after that are absolute trash. There was nothing lower on the list. I usually go down 300, 400, like just to see if there was a Hudson Hawk of that year kind of thing. And there really wasn't much later in the list. Like it was a struggle to find anything past 100, 150 on like the top movies from 99.
I wrote down about 35 movies that I thought were worth writing down.
Sure.
Yeah. But I mean,
like, I bet you those 35 are up on the list, though. They're not.
I think like Universal Soldier 2 came out this year. That was way down the bottom.
That was pretty low. Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't even 2. It might have been 3 or something. But yeah, I mean, this list is better than any of the other lists in the 90s.
This has got some bangers on it for sure. Also, how you doing, Evan?
I already pulled that up. You never pay attention to what I pop up.
That's just no. But if somebody could just clip that sound bit for me, that would be fantastic.
The return, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we can get into this now. I know you don't normally order your list.
No.
I order my list from most favorite to least favorite 5, kind of thing, and work backwards. You could almost mix these up in this. It's so hard to put all these into order. I did, but we'll see. I also don't care if you step on any of my toes on this. If you call out one before me, because, like I said, the next 5 after that are really great to talk about too. So I'll just substitute if I have to, and yeah.
Okay.
So, who went first last time? Was it me? I think it was me.
I'm pretty sure it was me last time because I make fun of you all the time about it. And then I think I actually went
just gonna do
first. Because you close it out. So if I went first, it'd be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Yeah, I went first last time, so you go first this time.
All right. So I'm going to talk about the number 5 that I have on here.
I have 4 stars on my list that I think are going to be the ones you talk about.
Well, you should have 5.
I don't know. No, the 5th is a wild card.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
All right. So number 5, let's see if this is I hate putting this on number 5 because I love this movie so much, but it's not the quality of movies as the other ones are. But I love it so much that it's still a great movie and well done. But the Boondock Saints
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, it's my number 5.
That's the one that I would say I didn't think you'd talk about, and that would
Really?
be the one that I would put as
Oh,
my
I
favorite
love
one.
this movie.
It's
I
great.
found this movie
It's
by total accident, like a lot of people did, because it wasn't that big in the box office
no.
when it came out, right? And at the time, like a few years later after this, I was buying DVDs from, I think it's Blockbuster or something like that, where you could buy out of a bin. You get like 2 and get 3 for free or something stupid like that. And I found it in one of those, and it, just I would get blocks of movies, go home and put them on or whatever. And I found that I was like, oh my God, what is this movie?
Yep.
It was amazing. And it's a cult hit, because of that. People are finding it like that.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't released in the US. I think it was a Canadian only release first. It did not do well. And then this is one of the ones I talked about. I had a special order it when I worked at Blockbuster to get the DVD because it wasn't available.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You couldn't even get it. Oh, okay. Interesting.
No, I had a special order it because it wasn't available. It was it's Billy Connolly is amazing.
Yeah.
Everything about this movie. The second one, blah. They're making a third. This one is just kill. I have a lamp. I'm not gonna go get it. I have a lamp, a Boondock Saints lamp, and the stem of the lamp are the 2 pistols.
Oh, that's cool.
And the shade has the Aequitas and Veritas. Like
that's pretty cool.
Of it and send it to you. Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah. William Dafoe's best character. I love.
God.
Anyway, I love that character.
Every time someone says symbology, I think of him from that movie.
Symbolism.
Symbolism. The word you're looking for is symbolism.
I know.
Oh God.
Oh, man.
So many with him.
Yeah. Boondock Saints is so great. I just happened to see it like on a TV the other day. I was like, oh, I'm going to sit down, but I couldn't. I want to sit down and just watch it right then. So yeah. I mean, it is the reason why I said that it doesn't have quite the quality writing or whatever as the other movies that are going to be on my list is because, he's your long lost father. Like, what is this, Star Wars? Like that kind of thing was a little bit cheesy.
Sure.
But the movie is just so great all the way through. Every scene, everything that, I don't care about that. I accept it. It's cool and all, but yeah.
It's got one of my favorite storytelling elements is you walking into the scene of what the fuck just happened.
Yes.
And then they're telling you how it happened. Like the bar scenes, like it's just when he's handcuffed to the toilet and like the whole thing is just like it's so brilliantly done. Duffy is he's an okay writer, and I think this was just so it was so well done in that aspect of what the fuck am I looking at, and then they show you how exactly it happened. It's brilliant. It's a great movie. One of my favorites, not even from 1999. It's one of my favorites, like ever. I love this movie far beyond
John Wick. That's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah, John Wick.
I've only seen 1, 2, and 3 of John Wick. I hadn't seen 4 1.
Wick is great, but it doesn't tell the story the same way.
No, I don't see the connection. Actually, it'd be interesting to hear what it is, but yeah, that's my number 5. So
this movie, it far exceeds the top of 1999 for me. It is one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh,
same here.
So great. All right, so then I have to go, huh?
Yep, you have to beat that.
I can't. That would be my number. Like if I had to rank them, that would be my number 1 by far.
Nice.
All right, but I will try. I still adore this movie. I watched it recently. I think it's arguably one of the best Star Trek movies ever made, and that's Galaxy Quest.
I was like, wait, no Star Trek. Oh, okay. Yeah, Galaxy Quest.
I think the movie's hysterical. I love how aggravated Rickman is throughout almost the entire fucking thing. I love the storytelling of it and how all of a sudden it got real. The idea of the kind of what we're doing now from the year 19,999, people in the future are watching their show from back then, and it's a whole thing.
Right.
And then they take it seriously. I think it's a great movie. I love Sigourney Weaver in it. Rickman he's just phenomenal. Who's the other guy? He was
Tim.
No, not Tim Allen. Tim Allen's great, and he plays a great character. The guy that plays Hammer in Iron Man. I always forget his name.
Idris Elba?
No. Plays Hammer. John, what's his Hammer?
I thought you said Heimner.
In Iron Man.
Hammer.
Johnny Hammer. What's his name?
Oh,
someone say something. You know it. It's Sam something.
Sam something. Yeah. Sam,
Yeah.
The one that dances
Rockwell.
over him. Rockwell. Sam Rockwell. Yeah.
He is awesome in it.
He dances in everything he's in.
I love it.
Like him.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites from the year for sure.
That's so. Matt guessed that was the one that I haven't seen. That is the hole in my geekdom, and it's not. I have seen it, but it is. I do have a weird thing with it. It's that it should be one that I love tremendously. I like it, but when it came out, I thought that it was making fun of Star Trek fans. I hadn't seen it. I just saw like parts, like the trailer or something like that, and I was like, I'm not interested in being made fun of because I am a big Star Trek fan and stuff, right? Or for them to make fun of the people that I actually am fans of and stuff, right?
Right.
But I didn't watch it for a long time. And then when I finally did, it was after seeing bits and pieces of it and stuff. So I didn't get the good experience of seeing it in theaters and all that stuff. So I see it. I appreciate it. I laugh at parts and stuff, but it's just not in my head nostalgic wise as it should be for, my geekdom or whatever, what I love to do stuff. So, so yeah, I got nothing bad to say about it. I just was introduced to it in a weird way.
Gotcha. It's fantastic. The cast is great. The storytelling is great. It's a little dated, obviously, from '99 with like the CGI and the rock monster and everything. It looks kind of weird,
but that works in its favor though, because they're making fun of they're making fun of the stuff. So
yeah. So Galaxy Quest number 5.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that it would be on your top 5 or your 5 list or whatever.
Oh, I love it, and I think I love it. I think I love it more because of Alan Rickman. Like everything else is fine with it. Now I know his name. I know Rockwell. I like Rockwell when he's on. He's dynamic. He's got the comedy. He's the one that's going to die first. Like he's got all that stuff. But every time Alan Rickman's on screen, he just looks so fucking miserable about the whole thing. Like you just look at his face and you laugh because he's just playing the part so damn well. And I think it just stands out even more for me. Because I can't wait for him to be on screen because that's kind of like that's how I feel. That's how I would.
But you're not a big Star Trek fan, which is why I didn't expect this to be on your list.
Right. Well, that's why I said this is arguably the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. All right, so now you're doing your number 4.
I am, and I'm going to take a hard fucking pivot. I still think this is one of the more unique films that I would watch again. That's not some sort of reiteration of something that's been done before, right? Like you said with Boondock Saints, and that was their father that was released from whatever. Like,
right?
It had a very unique, like, wait, what kind of feel to it. And it's being just
out of this too. Whenever you were talking about Alan Rickman being all mopey and stuff, it made me think of him doing Marvel.
Absolutely. So Hitchhikers, the movie was good. It was my introduction to Hitchhikers. I didn't see the original, whatever. But Rickman as the mopey, as Marvin, just this mopey robot that was miserable, and like it's just, I don't know. I think the more I get, the older I get, the more I can relate to his character in that movie because he just.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to fucking.
Hitchhiker's Guide is one of the best books ever written. As far as no, just I'm just gonna say that, but it can't be translated into a movie. So if you divorce the book from it, it is a fun, entertaining movie. Has a lot of funny things in it and stuff.
Like
but if you know the book, it'll never be good enough.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Anyway, I totally jumped into your number 4. I don't know where you're going with it. Where were you doing? Sorry.
Being John Malkovich.
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
on your wow. Okay,
Yep.
that's my number 11.
I love that movie. It was so wild. Like the idea that you find a tunnel behind a file cabinet and you end up being John Malkovich, like looking through his eyes, doing whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. And John Malkovich is just being John Malkovich. He's just himself in this movie. And then you get dumped on the side of the highway in Jersey. Like, what? And then you start selling tickets for it. Like the way the movie presents itself is like, I don't understand how it works, but it works so well.
It's such a weird concept. I
Totally.
saw an interview with John Malkovich where they asked him about it, and he said he got the script and he saw what it was titled. It was like, ugh, like whatever this is about. I don't want to play myself, blah blah. And he said then he kind of read a little bit and he just kept reading. He was like, "What in the hell is this movie?" And he had to make it right.
Yeah, it just
The
got
part
one
where
of
he
those-
goes into his own mind
Yeah.
is
totally wild. Yeah.
yeah.
And what it was such a great way to present like what happens if he went into his own tunnel. But it was such a unique fucking mind trip of a movie. But it was so unique because it wasn't like a regurgitation of something else that's already
Right.
happened, right? It was
Awesome.
different and it was awesome. Yep. Yeah, it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah,
Yep.
it works because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. His character.
love
in
that it
Red,
wasn't
I know it happens
explained.
way later, but his character in Red, like Bruce Willis
yeah.
in that is great, but his character in
His
Red
character is
is
one of the best in that.
He's just great.
I love that it wasn't explained either. Like they didn't have to go through the science of what happened or any of it. There's just a hole. Just accept it.
There's a hole behind a file cabinet that takes you into the brain of John Malkovich. Like you are him for X amount of whatever it was. It started getting longer the more they went in too.
Right.
They learned how to control him. And I think the brilliance of that movie was to introduce you to the idea of marionettes in the beginning, right? That you have someone that's controlling
Right.
these
Doing the
puppets.
puppets. Yeah.
Right. And then you're going into the tunnel and you learn how to control John Malkovich. It was
Yeah.
so brilliantly done.
Yeah. It's
So,
very
yeah.
good.
Being John Malkovich.
Good pick. Another surprise.
Oh, I love it.
It's going to be an interesting list. My number 4, little controversy because of who's in it, but I don't care. It's still an amazing story. Is American Beauty.
Oh God, fuck that movie.
You didn't like that movie? Oh, I thought that was a fascinating dive into like that person's brain, like
Sure,
what
yeah.
was going on and like how people were coping with their like their unhappy lives and what they were doing and stuff. I thought it was amazing.
It did a good job of it. I mean, nothing with Kevin Spacey at it, but it was just a weird. I didn't like it. I watched the whole thing and I'm like, okay, this has to be a good one, right? Because didn't it win or was nominated at least for Best Picture?
I think it was at least nominated. Yeah.
But I couldn't, like, it was just this creepy man that was in love with his daughter's friend that he shouldn't have.
Yeah, but and that's the thing though, but it ends up being, it's not really that. It's just that he's so incredibly unhappy that he's like grasping for all these different things that can make him happy and stuff. And it just really weird. The whole story with his daughter and that her boyfriend and the bag flying her. It's just such a interesting dive into like people's feelings and stuff. Even the wife was fascinating how she was acting out in her way with the whole the guy that she met and all that stuff, and it gets caught and
I mean, it wasn't my type of movie, but I mean it was a lot of people's type of movie because it did really well.
I don't know if this is John Malkovich. There's probably a comment on John Malkovich one.
Yeah, it definitely is. I do remember American Beauty having a great soundtrack.
The soundtrack is really interesting. Yeah. All right. So then my number 3, if that doesn't, won Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Film. Wow.
It did get film. Okay.
So I'm not too far off.
Yeah. I mean, that's your own, just not my type.
My number 3, I think, should have won Best Script, if not Director or whatever. But because this was, well, it's weird because you could say it was, an original kind of thing, but then I think in the same year or maybe a few months later into the next year, there was another movie that almost did the same thing, and it was unfortunate for it. But so this movie is the one that still shouldn't be spoiled. I don't care how old it is. Don't spoil it for people. But it's The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I have starred.
Yeah, I mean, so American Beauty wasn't starred on that one.
It's
so
not even on my list.
I got passed on 2 of you there.
Which now I'm wondering which of the other 3 you don't have on your list, and I'm kind of shocked.
Well, it might be my number 6 or something. Who knows?
And maybe I'm going to say I'm going to circle the one that I don't think. I'll circle the ones that are. That one.
But anyway, The Sixth Sense. This is one that I think. I mean, it still holds up, especially if you don't know what's going on. You could show it to, almost said new people, young people. Same thing, that just don't know anything about it and stuff like that, and don't spoil it, and then see what they think, and you'll have the same exact experience, right? It was so good. It was so good that it ruined what's his name's career. M. Night Shyamalan. It ruined his career in a way that he could never do as well.
Yeah, and
he tried so many times that just every single movie afterwards dug him deeper into a hole of not doing it, unless you count Unbreakable. Unbreakable was amazing,
fantastic movie. Yep.
But actually, wait, did that come before? No, that came afterwards. Then
after, yeah.
But yeah, if you've seen it, then you know the whole thing, and you know how amazing it was. I heard somebody say that they got it spoiled for them right before going in because somebody coming out said something.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that didn't happen to me because I have this memory in my head of what, and if you don't have that, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah, I got it too. I didn't. My experience was also not spoiled.
Did you ever? I don't. There's a comedian called Nate Bargatze that talks about it. So if you've seen the movie, he kind of spoils the ending too. But you should look up that clip of what he says about it because it's pretty funny. Right. But yeah, Sixth Sense. I fought back and forth between my last 3. This could have been my number 1. And Bruce Willis, like before then, you saw him in some stuff and all, and you're like, okay, can act and all, but this was some real acting here.
It was good.
Yeah,
I have my opinions.
Bruce Willis's acting
of the movie.
Oh, you don't like the movie?
Oh, I liked it. I don't know what to say without saying anything else.
Okay.
There's just a word that comes to mind that goes with this movie. It just
okay.
I mean, here go to the private chat. Do you think it's okay if I say this?
Oh, because it's something about spoiling it. I mean, it is. What? No, it's not.
Oh my God! All right, I'm not saying it.
Did you figure it out?
Yeah.
No. No.
Okay.
All right. So that was my number 3. So what's your number 3?
Right. So now I got to figure out what the hell to say after that. And then I got to do 2 in a row. This is going to suck. All right. I've talked about it before.
So glad you enjoy making the show. This is going to suck.
Well, I got to do 2 back to back. And now I don't want to touch these because I want to see if I'm right. I'm gonna make you talk about them. I've talked about this before, and again, to keep the streak going, Robin Williams is just tremendous, and Bicentennial Man is still one of my favorites. It's such a pull on the heartstrings type of movie that kind of puts you in your place of about being human. Like,
this is one I knew you would do. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, and I think it still holds. I haven't seen it in quite a while, but I think it still holds true. I think if I watched it today, I would still have the same emotional attachment to it that I did every other time that I've watched it. I think it's a really well done movie.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's very well done. And the acting that Robin Williams was an amazing actor.
Yep.
Just he always floored me every time I saw him. And I don't know why I was surprised every single time,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
He's
he knew how to get to you.
I learned something new recently about him. He was offered the role of the Joker in
Really?
'89's Batman. Yep. In
Huh.
Keaton's Batman. So they gave it to Nicholson, and I think Nicholson, I don't know the whole story, but I think either Nicholson passed or he took too long to get back to them. So then they offered it to Williams and told Nicholson that they offered it to Williams. And then Nicholson said, no, I'll do it. So, and then Robin Williams had a problem with somebody at Warner Brothers and said, I'm never working with them again unless they apologize. Because they basically used him as bait to get Nicholson to do the thing. That was shitty.
Yeah. I hear that happens a lot, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. What's even bad is they do it for like, in fact, if you've seen the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
yeah,
what they're doing there is they hire some nobody who is Robert Downey Jr., his character, and say, "Oh, we're going to put you in this part," only because they're trying to get somebody with that Hollywood name to go, "What? You're taking my part and giving it this nobody? No, I'll take it," kind of thing. And so that's what his whole thing was that his dreams were coming true. No, they were just using him like that. Seems to happen a lot in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yep.
Although I would have rather have seen Robin Williams play the Riddler.
Well, so it ends up that he wasn't going to do it because of the bad blood, because there wasn't an apology or anything. So I think they were coming to him for it, and he was basically like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Yeah.
Anybody but
that's all right.
Position would have been good. Jim Carrey did a fine job. It wasn't awful, but it just wasn't.
Jim Carrey was a great pick, but the rest of the movie was a little. Anyway,
sure,
we're moving into the future, and we're only in 19,999.
It's very true. All right, so Bicentennial Man, again, with all the movies that he's been doing over these past couple years that we've been talking about with Being Human, and he's phenomenal. And Bicentennial Man is still
great pick.
Still a good one for me.
I have that as my number 17.
Wow, that's low.
Yeah, not really in this list. Galaxy Quest is 19.
Well, that's because you're butthurt about Star Trek. Which is fine. God, what do I talk about number 2 then? If this is my number 1. Oh, God damn it. All right. I this one I'd be surprised. 1, if it's even on your list of 35, and 2, how many people watching have seen this movie. And there's a couple, but I gotta talk about this one. Have you seen Stir of Echoes?
No.
Okay. How many in the chat have seen Stir of Echoes? Not looking it
up. I saw the list as I was going through all this stuff, but it didn't seem familiar.
It's Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
1999 Kevin Bacon. And then they're having a party, and one of the people at the party, not witchcrafty, but Kevin Bacon, says something, does something, and basically unlocks Kevin Bacon's mind, where he now becomes like, not Tremors, from 99. He becomes this, like, not clairvoyant, but he becomes this medium to help find a missing girl in town.
And I remember the trailer for that.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Is it good? Okay.
Good jump scares. It's got cool, like, mystery to it. Kevin Bacon's really good in it. Like, it stuck. It was one of the better mystery movies from this year.
It must have been fantastic for you not to have, because you have a limited amount of movies in this top 5 to put it in there. You're just letting me put in movies that you want in your top 5, aren't you?
I'm putting in movies that I know you're not going to talk about, because these other ones,
That's me.
Pretty sure I got your next 2.
Oh, you have to have my next 2.
Yeah. So I don't need to talk about those. I can talk about ones that people might not have.
Fair enough. Gaming the system. I see how it's going.
That's why I don't do lists.
So you can cheat.
So yeah, Stir of Echoes. I think. Again, it's 1999, so whatever. But I think the story, the mystery, the way it's told, the way things are happening in that movie, it's a good one.
Cool. Okay, so my number 2 is South Park. Just kidding.
Oh my god!
I'm just going to talk about bad movies so that you have to use yours.
Perfect. Yeah, do that.
It wasn't actually a bad movie as South Park standards go, I guess. But anyway, I'm not talking about South Park. My number 2 is predictable. It's Fight Club.
There. That I would have talked about that one next if you didn't.
Yeah, has to be talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, again, surprise ending stuff, right? And
Wait,
has been done lots. Huh?
You're gonna spoil this one, but not the other one?
I didn't spoil the. I didn't
No,
spoil
I'm
it.
curious. I'm curious.
No. Why would
Okay.
I spoil it?
Why? Because it's 1999. If people haven't seen it, people like.
They should still see it.
No,
There's
absolutely.
people-
But like, there's something I want to like. I would spoil this one because. I guess
All right,
not.
fine. If you haven't seen Fight Club, mute it. I'll wave at you whenever it's time to undo it, so we can talk about it. Because, well, I also, I want to talk about something else that's come afterwards that has borrowed from it, and that would be spoiling that too. But anyway, but yeah, so so gullible. I didn't see it either. It's crazy
totally
that you never get a name for Ed Norton's character,
Mhm.
right? And it never pops in your head like, who is this guy?
Mhm.
It's just the narrator, but you never get his name, and you never ask, what's this character's name?
Yep.
It's so weird, but they keep you so focused on everything that's going on.
Yep.
The Brad Pitt bouncing around, being ridiculous, and yeah, I mean, I never saw it coming, and whenever the thing goes,
Yeah.
that's what you feel whenever you, at the same time, it's perfectly
Mhm.
executed, right? Whenever you find out. So,
Yeah, this is one of those movies that you can watch multiple times and see something different each time you watch it. It got better. Almost every time I watched it, it got better because I would see something else, or something else would click, or something else would make more sense because of the rewatching of, oh shit, that's like, it just makes sense after a while. It's phenomenal.
yeah. And, even the soundtrack's awesome. I love the soundtrack on it.
Yep.
Yep. And there's the, what is it? Something about mind. I'm trying to think of the song where at the end, the drums, just as the buildings go down, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Simple Mind. I can't remember what it's called now. Sorry, up there. That's pretty cool, if that's true. But yeah, I am Jack Speen. His name is Robert Paulson.
What was
Meatloaf
the Sixth Sense for you? Was it number 3? Was it your number 3?
This was my number 2. Oh, Sixth Sense was my number 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, okay, so unmute if you've kept it muted. Probably nobody did. Probably everybody's seen it by now.
Probably everybody's seen it.
Yeah. But so then my number 1 is probably way more. It's easily guessed, right?
Yeah. If it's not this, I think you need to leave the show.
Well, then you should have had it in your list too.
Nope, because it's not my number 1.
How is this not your number 1? How is this not anybody's number 1? That's what I don't get. Or at least in their top 5. Is it in your top 5?
It was one that I would talk about if you didn't. Yes. If you don't talk about this, it'll be the next one I talk about.
Okay, I can accept that. Because The Matrix was the biggest movie that come out this year other than Episode 1 Star Wars.
Yep.
And it's not just the, the kung fu or the 3D shots or the slow-mo or the bullet time, all that stuff. That stuff was amazing. But there was this entire thing that about the philosophy about what if we're in the simulation and all that stuff, right? If you'd gone to whatisthematrix.com during this time, there was this huge like conversation going on in forums and stuff about just the ideas bouncing around and what if this and all these different. It was fascinating to get involved in. But it's not just the kung fu movie. It's not just all that stuff. And now we've looked into that kind of stuff so much that if you show the movie to someone now, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a cool movie," but they don't understand like it was unlocking the brain for people at this time.
Yep.
The internet was still kind of new. And honestly, I mean, it's been around for what, maybe 8 years or something, but it's still dial up until recently at that point.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think this was it was a groundbreaker. I think it was definitely doing something different and pointing fingers at stuff that was like making people think more than they were. And it was a movement. I mean, it was an unbelievable creation of something, again, different, similar in a lot of senses to other things, but definitely different feeling when you're watching that movie.
Well, I mean, the whole idea was to make an anime into a movie, right?
Yeah.
And animes had been exploring a lot of this deep, interesting, what if kind of scenarios, philosophical stuff for a long time. So they were bringing that to the American screen and real life and all that stuff. I think it just opened up a lot more into the cinematic universe than I think it was like what Star Wars was for, a lot of stuff in the movies when it came out. I think this really opened up a lot of other movies since then.
Yeah, it definitely had a different feel. I think this is probably controversial, but I think that this was the best that it got.
I don't think that's controversial. I think most people agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't hate the 2 and 3. I don't hate that they exist. I don't need them.
No.
I definitely.
I like the Xbox game more than I like the other movies.
Oh.
Or the Animatrix was phenomenal.
Oh, the Animatrix was amazing. Yes.
But yeah, this was the best. This was the best that it got because it had such promise, and then the only thing was like Mifune's Last Stand later on was like just visually like holy shit, look at what they're doing. Yeah. But otherwise, it was like
Enter the Matrix was the video game, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you play that one? Yeah, that was actually really good.
Jada Pinkett was the main character, and what it did really well was it crossed the storylines too. Like as you're playing, you got to one of the cutscenes that was in the movie, and then you went on your own thing. So like while everyone was doing this, you were doing it. It was really neat because they worked with the writers of the writer. They worked with the people from the movie on the game to be like, okay, this makes sense.
And you could do the bullet time thing in the game, which I think they'd already had with I can't remember what it's called, but Wahlberg did a movie based off of it. I think it starts with an M. But anyway, I think they had it in a game right before that bullet time kind of stuff, but it was still
good pick. Predictable, but good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be in there. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do the dirty work.
Why not you?
Number 1.
All right.
So what did you choose to talk about besides The Matrix and Fight Club?
Tarzan.
I quit.
No, I mean there are some good ones, but I got to do one that, I mean, I can't not watch this movie when it's on. I love it.
I hope it's what everybody's talking about in the comments because they are like
it is going to make a lot of people very happy.
Okay,
but yeah, The Mummy is fantastic. It's such a fun ride. Brendan Fraser is great. I love the guy that plays the bad guy in it. You know all the words. You've seen it so many damn times, but every time I watch it, it's just I can't turn it off. It's just fun to watch. It's just a great ride. It's one of the better ones that I've consistently watched whenever it's on since 1999. Like it's
Yeah.
it's one of those that it just has to happen.
Yeah, I agree. It's incredibly fun. It's its own thing. Like it doesn't feel like it's trying to rip off Indiana Jones and all that stuff, but it feels like it's built on that foundation, but it doesn't feel cheesy like it's ripping it off or anything. It's its own thing. It's really good. The other ones afterwards are okay.
Yeah,
The
they're
second
fine.
one's not bad.
Yeah.
Third one is like, okay.
Yeah.
But
I feel like they just had to close off the trilogy.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think it does a good job, like almost paying an homage to Indy, right? There are definitely scenes in it that are inspired by like Last Crusade type of scenes with
Right.
hanging off the vehicle or whatever, like running through the streets, and like there's a lot in the movie that's just super fun. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah, I agree. It does it in a good way, not a fan filmy way. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea. I mean, some of it is predictable too. Like when you get out there and you see the, I forget what they're called, but those that are protecting it, and then they end up like you think that they're the bad guys, but they end up being the good guys because they're protecting instead, and then they team up to do the thing. Like it's not a unpredictable movie. You see a lot of the stuff happening, but it's so good. It's just a fun movie. One of the better ones that I would never turn off if I saw it on.
Yeah, I'm also happy about this. He's a good actor.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Some nice picks there. Obviously, there are a ton more to talk about, so we can just dive into those. But because we never stick to just 5, right?
No.
And in this one, there's so many movies. You didn't let me dig out of my 5 at all. I got to say all 5 of mine. So you didn't let me get into 6 through 10 at all. And in fact, none of them have been mentioned.
Perfect. Where are they?
Well, Magnolia. Have you ever seen Magnolia?
Yeah, isn't that Tom Cruise?
It's got Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of people in it.
Yeah, it does.
And it's got a great soundtrack. I think Amy Mann did most of it and stuff. It's just like a really weird movie. I mean, it rains frogs at one point. Like it's a really strange movie, but I thought it was fascinating. I really liked it.
I was left at the end going like, not like eyes wide shut. What the fuck did I watch? But almost like, what the fuck?
I get that sentiment, but I enjoyed it. Like it was one of those things. Like either it's a hit or miss for people. Like either you're like, okay, that was really weird, but I like it, and other people were like, that was really weird, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm not. That's
Well, yeah, and I can't fault anybody for having that because it was so weird.
Well, it could also be like who's watching it, like where am I when I'm watching it? Like there are a lot of other things. Like maybe watching it now would have a different impact than it did.
Maybe. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman's really good in it. And of course, he's really good in pretty much everything he does. But yeah, it's got some weird stuff in it. And I don't even think Tom Cruise's part is really as big as you remember it to be.
Yeah.
He's just one of many people in it.
Yep.
But
yep.
And what's funny is he plays kind of a dickhead that you could see happening because of the character, big person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talented Mr. Ripley. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, that was okay.
I love that movie. I even have the screen. I have the. I can't think today. The script. I have the
you
script.
You usually can't think on Mondays. I don't think it's just today. I think it's a Monday thing.
I don't think it's just Monday.
Perfect.
I have the screenplay. That's what I was trying to say. I have the screenplay of it because I thought it was such a weirdly written movie that I wanted to see how it was written. And I used to write screenplays for fun.
For fun.
Yeah. I never thought about doing anything with it. I just did.
You did. You wanted Massive Men to be a screenplay. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. But no, I really liked, first of all, I thought Matt Damon did an amazing job with it, but Jude Law's in it too, and he does a good job. There's a new show that I want to see that I haven't seen yet, but yeah, there you go.
Ripley.
Yeah. So How about Man on the Moon?
I wasn't a fan of it.
Really?
Yeah,
I think that's one of Jim Carrey's like best
it's
acting that he's ever done.
it is. It is. He's playing a character. He's playing a role that was a guy that was playing a role. Like it's a weird delve into character portrayal because he's playing a character that was played by it wasn't a guy he's playing a character of a guy, like, or was it like
Well, I mean, you saw parts of his real life, but he wasn't that different from the people that he was playing. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Courtney Love was in it too, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was okay. It was
I think by that time I had forgiven her for killing Kurt Cobain. So.
Kurt Cobain, yeah.
Just kidding. I don't. Dude disguises dude. Yeah, dude disguises dude is disguises another.
Disguises as another dude. Yeah.
Funny. How about the Green Mile?
The Green Mile is one of the ones. The other one that I had starred that you didn't mention. I figured it would be up there for you.
Excellent film. It's just not as rewatchable for me as the other ones. That's why it got pushed down a little bit. I mean, we're talking about number 9. So out of the whole year. So
no, great. I mean, just an upsetting movie. Like, really well.
And that's what I mean by rewatchable. It's just like it's a hard ending, right?
Yeah,
it's an emotional one.
Yep.
What about Toy Story 2?
Yeah, I try and leave sequels off. It was a good one. I just recently watched it because I'm watching all the Toy Stories with Luca. I think it was good, but I think 3. I might talk about 3 when 3 comes up.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that's my 10. I mean, John Malkovich with their Office Space.
Yeah, that was on my list. I think it was fun. I mean, the red stapler burning down the place. The whole interview, like, looks like you've been missing a lot of work. Well, I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob. Like, when he doesn't give a fuck anymore and they keep, like, that's the best turn in that movie.
And that so rings true. The best interview I ever had was one that I realized halfway through I didn't want the job.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I thought in my head, I don't want to work here. But I didn't. But the guy was nice. Like I was just like looking at the work that I was going to do and stuff. And so I just started being like, I don't really want to do that. And he was like, oh, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I probably want to do this. And then he would be like, let me show you where you work. And I was like, there's no windows in here. You have an office with windows? And he was like, oh, we have this other place. I came in there. I was like, yeah, this is much better. And I want a desk over here. So I just started like doing whatever, and basically like off it. And he was just like, oh, sure. And then he was like calling me like relentlessly trying to get me to get the job. But I'd already decided in a way that I didn't want it.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
That's great. That's hysterical.
Yeah. I just gave the advice to someone doing their first interview. It was just like, you have to get in your head that you don't want it, and then they'll want you.
Yeah. Yep.
Start asking them questions and make them prove to you
why you want to work there.
Why you should work here, and then they'll suddenly want you to work here. It's a weird
thing. Yep. It's a good one. It's funny. There's a lot of moments that still stick around, but not top 5.
Oh no. That's my 12.
Right.
And The Mummy's after it. Sorry, guys.
That's a mistake.
I enjoy The Mummy, but it's not in the point of nostalgia for me because I was older or whatever. Like Indiana Jones was a nostalgia for me. So yeah. So I still think it's great. I'll just like you, if it's on, I'll watch it. See, what I'm really doing is just trying to get people to unsubscribe one at a time.
Yeah.
Every episode we're going down one person. That's
one a week. Yeah.
I don't want to go too far, so I'll leave it there. The Iron Giant.
Iron Giant is classic. Such a good
That's
story.
A classic movie.
Yeah.
And I got Eyes Wide Shut on here. It's a weird one. It's a really weird one.
Oh,
another Tom Cruise too. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Ooh, Wild Wild West. There's a bad movie. That's fun.
That would be a guilty pleasure, I think, because it is a fun movie, but it's stupid.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the Kevin Smith's story of why that movie got made?
Nope.
So Kevin Smith during this time was, or a little bit before this time, was tasked to write the script for a Superman movie,
Yeah.
right? And so he started writing it and stuff, and he went to the producer's house, and the producer said, "I want Superman at some point." Did I say Spider-Man or Superman? Superman.
Superman. Yeah.
I want Superman at some point to fight a giant spider. And he's like, "Why a giant spider?" He's like, "Do you know anything about giant spiders?" And he starts going to this other thing. I can't be as funny as Kevin Smith when he tells the story, but um, he goes into this whole thing about why spiders are awesome and he wants Superman to fight it. But anyway, the movie never got made. And later on, Wild Wild West got made, and it's the same producer. And that's why there's a giant mechanical spider in a movie, because just this weirdo wants some giant spider in a movie. He doesn't care what movie it is. Yeah.
That's wild. Huh.
What was
Oh,
this?
yep. Oh, no, I was talking about the next thing. What's that?
TNT.
These are all on TNT. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
For Lawrence Fishburne, I'm glad he turned it down. I wouldn't have liked him in that role.
I don't know. Was it Fishburne's character or was it Neo?
I guess it could have been Neo. I wouldn't have liked him in either one of those roles. The reason why Keanu Reeves works so perfectly for that role is because he is so monotone emotionally.
Yeah.
It just works. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Nick Cage thing.
Does he fight a giant spider in that? That's hysterical.
Yeah, that's funny.
I still haven't seen that.
Did you hear that they used his likeness, AI likeness, without his permission? He didn't even know about it until he saw the movie.
No, I had no idea.
Could you imagine watching a movie and going, "Hey, that's me"?
Huh. He didn't know he was in it?
No, because it's all AI, CG
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I only ever saw this movie after he passed away because I wanted to see
Yeah.
his stuff, right? Heath Ledger, but
Yeah. It's a modern telling of a Shakespeare play. Like it
right.
was good. They did a good job of it.
Yeah.
Hi, Bailey.
Not as good as Knight's Tale, but yeah.
No, and I think there was another one that came out. 10 Things I Hate About You is good, but from the Shakespeare's perspective, Midsummer Night's Dream came out this year.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
I had that DVD. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Kline he's just funny. Like in most of the characters he does, he has a way of making something funny that's not intended to be funny. Like I don't know, just the way he plays with the character, the way he delivers his lines. I did enjoy that one. I hated the story was weird, but I did like that movie.
I was just talking about this movie last night with a friend, Payback with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that was okay.
Remember that? You
Yep.
remember the hammer scene on the toes? I still think
Oh,
about that. So every time I stub my toe, I think about that movie.
Yeah.
Where they're torturing him, they hit his toes, each one with a hammer. Oh,
Nope. Mm-mm. No good.
That's kind of a fun movie, though.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever see Cruel Intentions?
Cruel Intentions was fantastic.
That was such a weird, like.
Yep.
It's so weird. I mean, and also being a Buffy fan, right? It's like to make her that kind of character.
Yeah, they did a great job with that movie. I mean, they really did. I thought it was really well done how they approached it and how they executed it. It was an odd, like, I bet you can't do it before I do kind of movie. And they did well.
Someone said Misery. That came out in 1990.
Oh, yeah, no, you're talking about the hammer to the toe thing.
Oh, no. That, yeah.
When she walks in with the sledgehammer.
Oh, that's different. Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty bad too.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream is a fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. It's just got to be, the movie is better than, like, reading it was just, I don't know, reading it was tough.
She's all that. Who was in that one?
Oh, that's
Amanda Bynes?
It could be Bynes. No, I think it's
That's too
No.
early.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could be Amy
Um,
Smart. No.
Cruel Intentions. We talked about.
Yep.
Oh, The Bone Collector. Did you ever see that one?
That's on my list. It was that and Stir of Echoes were close for me.
Oh, okay. Did you ever read the book, The Bone Collector?
I haven't.
It's really weird how they changed the characters a bit and stuff
Yeah.
in it, but otherwise, it's still interesting.
I think the best. It was a cool mystery. I like the story, trying to figure out the whodunit kind of thing.
Yeah.
The best part about that movie is the emotion and the acting of Denzel Washington doing it all from a bed.
Yeah.
The whole movie. And you're like, he doesn't, it's all him in a bed doing that thing. And you're just like blown away by what he does in that movie. He's that damn good.
Yeah.
But I think Stir of Echoes, for me, because also Angelina Jolie, whatever. Stir of Echoes topped it for me. I love Denzel and Bone Collector, but that's the only thing I liked about Bone Collector.
There's a part.
Denzel's performance.
There's a part in the book that I don't remember. Is hey Andrew.
Hey Andrew.
There's a part in the book of Bone Collector that I remember was interesting to me that I don't remember if they did in the movie or not. Maybe you do, but in the book, he tells her before she goes into the crime scene, right? He tells her to take some rubber bands and wrap them around her shoes, so that whenever she walks in, you can tell your footprints from anybody else's.
Right.
Kind of thing. Do they do that in the movie?
I don't know if it was rubber bands, but I remember something about that.
I don't remember why that sticks in my head out of the book, out of everything. But yeah.
Rachel Lee Cook. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yep. And Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah, we just talked about Iron Giant. I think it's funny. That's the movie that they show in Ted Lasso, and the whole team is like all like crying. Trying to hide that they're crying. Yeah. I want to see it again too. I hadn't seen it in so long. Sleepy Hollow was okay.
That's another one that's on my list. I loved it. I thought it was great. I really liked the fun. They made it a fun. Also, like when I grew up downstate New York, and Sleepy Hollow is Tarrytown, which is it's downstate New York. So the legend is from around there. So watching a movie about the legend was kind of cool, and I thought they did it well. I mean, it's kind of like watching anything about the Salem witches, but it was fun. It was a fun movie.
I think when I watched it, I wanted it to be a little less Johnny Deppness and more like a cooler horror movie.
Yeah.
But I think I'd appreciate it more today than I did then, because I was looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of this is all about expectation.
If they did Sleepy Hollow more in the style of The Village.
Yeah.
Right? Less campy, I guess. But when you bring in the Headless Horseman, when you bring in those parts, like the cinematography of those with him on the horse and the
sure,
like it looks beautiful, and it's a little pokey with him being Ichabod, but
it felt a little Beetlejuicy and I wanted something a little more serious with it.
Serious, yeah, I agree. It was a good one.
Analyze This was funny.
Analyze This was okay. Yeah, that was good. Yep. That's good.
Did you ever see End of Days?
I wanted to put that on the list because I remember it, but I don't remember it being good.
Yeah, I know. I have the same thing. Like I remember watching it and thinking, oh, it was better than I thought it'd be, but it still wasn't like good enough to go on the list. But
no.
Girl Interrupted came out that year. It was all right.
Yeah.
13th Warrior was a disappointment for me. I didn't like it as much.
I wanted that to be better too.
Yeah. Entrapment.
Yeah, it's just because of Sean Connery. Other than that, it wasn't really.
Just because of Sean Connery?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a laser scene.
Still Sean Connery.
Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
the better of the movies.
It
But
is, yeah.
again, it's hard. It's still hard to watch.
Yeah. A little cringy nowadays. But I think the Dr. Evil stuff is still all good. It's just the Austin Powers stuff that is cringy.
Yeah,
Which is
for
weird.
sure. I some one-liners and haha, funny, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Big Daddy came out that year.
Yeah, you keep hitting all the ones on mine. This is great. Big Daddy it's hysterical. It's such a funny when he's peeing on the wall.
Yeah.
Like I wipe my own ass. Like there's so many. It's a Adam Sandler movie that isn't an Adam Sandler movie, right? He's
Right.
not
This
trying
was
to be
a good one. Right. This was a good one for me because I was getting tired of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And then he played a basically normal person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah, it
Got
was
me to not hate him.
Yeah, one of the better ones for sure.
The Blair Witch Project was, if you saw it in the movie theater at the time, was amazing. But anytime after that, it's awful. Like I would never show it to anybody today because it's been done to death 100 times.
Yeah.
But before that movie, there weren't movies like that in the theater.
Yeah.
It felt real and stuff. You came out of that theater just like shaking, like you're like, oh god,
yeah,
that was brutal. But now it's just like anybody can do that with their phone, and it just feels
it just seemed like more of a jump scare kind of movie. It didn't it wasn't. It was like whatever. I like the second one more than most people.
I don't think I ever saw the second one.
The second one seemed to be more of a mystery kind of movie, like what the actual fuck is happening kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where like it just seemed to be better than the Blair Witch one was like, okay, cool. The second one actually had more meat to it. Not good. It wasn't a good
Not
movie,
good.
but I think it was better than the first.
It is weird to talk about all of this stuff and not mention An American Pie.
Yeah.
Because it's such a huge movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's a little cringy.
Yeah.
Especially when nowadays kind of stuff. There's a lot of still funny parts in it.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
And awkward. Even watching it when it first came out, there were some awkward fucking moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing that it's named after it has a whole awkward moment with it, right?
A whole awkward moment?
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
It's not even on my list.
What was this? Went to a party in the woods museum. Yeah. No.
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 Nope.
Nope. A Blast from the Past is another Brandon Fraser movie.
Yeah, that was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was fun. I would never say like don't watch that or anything, but there's lots of other stuff.
Yep.
It
was Mark.
Yeah, I think we mentioned everything. Oh, so here's the hole in my geekdom.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mystery Men.
Oh, yeah. That was
Never
good.
seen
I know people are dying for a second one, and I don't know why.
There are people like cult classic love this movie.
Yeah.
And the reason why I haven't seen it because I didn't see it then, and it's been so long that I feel like that's all nostalgia. And if I watched it today, I'll probably be like, "Oh, this movie sucks," even though I like a lot of the people that are in it.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm gonna not like it because I don't have the nostalgia of whenever it came out and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think watching it today, I would just see it as bad, which is why I haven't seen it.
I think you have to see it.
I kind of feel like I do. Like it needs to. It's the hole in my geekdom, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things I need to see. I also wrote down that this is the year that Gorgeous came out, the movie you were talking about with Jackie Chan. I hadn't seen it, of course, but you mentioned
watch
it.
That movie. Please watch that movie. I'm telling those fight scenes are bonkers. The movie's good. It's a good movie. It's a Jackie Chan movie. It's got good bones to it. I mean, it's got a good story. It's highly predictable in why he's doing what he's doing and who he's doing it for. Like, that's all fine. But man, the fight scenes with that guy, it's just it's just it's not Jackie Chan jumping through a shopping cart that's being rolled at him, right? Or jumping from the roof through awnings. Like it doesn't have that. It's just got this elegant back and forth choreography between him and that other guy that is just like watching it was like I gotta watch it again. I gotta watch it again. Like I watched those scenes so many times just to watch them fight.
That's cool
because they were so damn good.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Even
I like this
I mean, the movie is the movie, but if you can watch, I don't even know if they're on YouTube. If you can find the full fight scenes, they're worth watching the fight scenes.
You can find a lot of kung fu fight scenes just on YouTube.
It's worth it. There's a little bit of the build up, right? Because like he's being put in a place to have to fight this guy. Like there's story to it, right. And also it's subtitles. It's a foreign flick, so there's subtitles. I don't think it's dubbed, but
that's fine.
It's worth it for those fight scenes, man.
Cool. Anything I missed? Because that's everything I got on my list.
I have a couple.
All right. What you got?
I mean, you talked about all the other ones. I was kind of joking, but not really, about Tarzan. I really did like Tarzan.
Right. It's not bad at all. I just was laughing because it's not your number one, obviously.
No, it's not. I hate it because it's Whoopi Goldberg. I love it because it's Phil Collins. But I think the movie was really well done. Like, it's still one of those that I would watch when it's on. I'm not seeking it out, but it's a fun movie to watch. I think there are a lot of great things about it. There's a threesome of sports movies that I know would not be on your list. That I
know one of them's. I saw the list when I was like, okay, he'll talk about that because it's sports.
So there's Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw.
Al Pacino's speech about inches. It's still, outside of sports, it's still a phenomenal, not soliloquy. What's it called? Monologue. It's phenomenal. That speech is phenomenal. Varsity Blues is a great feel-good movie about, again, football. Both of those are football. If you haven't seen Mystery Alaska it's hockey oriented, but it's a fun movie. You know a lot of the actors that are in it. It's a good movie, and it also has hockey. But I think other than the Boondock Saints, that was a sleeper hit from '99 that people know now because of the cult following of it, but didn't know when it came out. Did you see the movie Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai?
No, but I saw the poster for it when I was going through this. I was like, what is that? That looks
watch it.
It's got the guy who played the bad guy in Iron Man 2 in it. The Russian guy.
Yes.
Can't remember what his name is.
Yep.
But when I saw him, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Yep. And it's what's his name too? I just lost it when you said the Russian guy. Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
So he plays an assassin for the mob, if I remember correctly. He plays an assassin for the mob, and then the mob turns on him and puts out a hit on him. But he does his stuff in the way of the samurai. So like sword and fights and everything. It's really
Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to see that.
Totally under the radar, just like Boondock Saints did. It does not have as much of a cult following, obviously, but right. Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai is worth it.
Wow.
Yeah. Now remember, 1999 is when I was working at Blockbuster, so I saw a lot of this shit just like, all right, well, it's Forrest Whitaker. Let's see what happens, right? Because Forrest Whitaker's he's amazing. So I'm like, all right, and it looked be real. It did not look good at all, and it's very, very well done.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I should check into that. That sounds good.
This is Ghost Dog? This is the guys behind Ghost Dog?
I imagine he just said it.
I think. But yeah, it's worth it.
Nice.
Yep. But that's it. Other than the ones that you've already mentioned, I think the sports ones, I mean, Any Given Sunday is just iconic. That speech by Al Pacino is just fucking phenomenal. And Ghost Dog is another one of those that would be under the radar of most that haven't seen it. Same thing with Gorgeous. Gorgeous is this year. And I mean, if you're a Jackie Chan fan, you might have seen it, but it didn't have a release. It was direct to video. It was a foreign flick. Like, it was just, It's like
Yeah.
Samurai Cop, right? Like that was never out in theaters, but if you knew Jackie Chan movies, you knew Samurai Cop.
Right.
Samurai Cop? Am I screwing that? Is it Samurai Cop? No.
Yeah. Super Cop.
Super Cop. Super Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie.
So from this list, I would say Boondock Saints, obviously. Gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Ghost Dog. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And then all the others are, again, when I said, if you look at the list that we have, if you go past movie 100 on whatever IMDb ranks movies when you type it in, it was hard to find a movie that was worth talking about after 100, 150. There was such a divide, and these are some of the like just iconic movies that are just they're just there. Like if you haven't seen it, the majority of people have seen these movies. But there was such a divide where the other ones you can scroll down into the 200 and find one that was like at least nostalgic for some sort of purpose. And this year didn't have it. All of them. It was such an amazing year for movies that they're all on the top of the list.
Yeah. This was a defining like curve into movies for a while. Like all the movies after this, you're going to see, not all of them, but a big chunk of them you're going to see heavily influenced by this year. And really, I'd say 94 and 96 kind of influenced this year, I think, in a lot of ways. But
yeah, 94 was stupid. Jeez. But this is
no. They're talking about The Insider.
Oh, the Michael and yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I don't remember it. I saw it at the time, and I don't remember much about it, so I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it.
Should rewatch it.
Yeah, 99 is of the decade, going from 1990 to 1999. I think
so that's year 19,999.
20,000 years of movies. I think this is the best one of the bunch.
Yeah, this is what you get for letting me write the titles onto these videos.
That's the first one you fucked up, though.
Is it? It's not bad. It's 185th episode.
Right, of 185 episodes, you botched one title.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
And now I won't fix it because we mentioned it. So,
yeah, Ghost Dog is great.
Cool. Definitely. Yeah, I will look into that one.
Yeah, give it a look. Give it a look. I mean, it's if not just for Forrest Whitaker, the story is good. I mean, again, it's got some predictableness to it because when you think about an assassin that worked for a thing and all of a sudden they turned on the guy that worked for them. Okay, fine. But then the way he goes about it is like, oh, it's good.
Very cool. Well, let us know if we missed any. Let us know if you disagree with any of our top fives. Just to go over my top five again, it was number 5 was Boondock Saints, then American Beauty, then Sixth Sense, Fight Club, and The Matrix. You want to say your list?
I started with Galaxy Quest, went to Being John Malkovich, went to Bicentennial Man, went to Stir of Echoes, and then The Mummy.
Yeah, you were kind of all over the place.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, none of them can really. Bicentennial Man is completely different than Malkovich, which is completely different than Galaxy Quest, which is completely different than The Mummy, which are all different than Stir of Echoes.
Yeah. Well, all right. Great year. I've been waiting to get to this year because I knew the amazing movies we get to talk about. And I love talking about movies. So next week, we'll probably talk about board games.
Yeah, the next year in the board games. Yep.
Yeah, we'll do the best board games of 40,000 years from now or whatever.
Yeah. Spoiler, Alan Moon is still making games.
Still making awesome games. Yeah. Trains in space.
Oh God, can you imagine?
I'm surprised he hasn't done something like that actually. Like a Doctor Who train in space thing.
Speaking of in space. Yeah, Toy Story 2 for sure. Muppets, wasn't it Muppets in Space came out this year?
I saw that. I thought you'd mention it. You always mention the Muppets movies.
I had no idea that existed.
Oh, I remember when it came out. I was like, oh god.
Yeah,
I
I love
didn't watch
Muppet
it.
movies, but
Yeah.
Muppets in Space for me is just one of those episodes, right? It was never. I didn't know it was a movie. I thought it was just one of those little shorts that they did on the show.
How's it like you like Muppets, but you don't like My Puppet? He's
I
basically a
fucking hate
Muppet.
your puppet. I hate your puppet, and I don't know why he's wearing a goddamn apron.
It's the Critter Kitchen apron.
I know it is. I don't know why he's wearing it.
Because he's getting ready to cook.
Oh, he's gonna cook for you. Yeah, he's gonna cook
Maybe.
you. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna chop you
Yeah.
up and cook you.
He's wearing Jane's hat from Firefly too.
Yeah, it's fucking.
He's
weird.
a geek. I'll bring him on next game.
I
Next show.
bet you he watch Mystery Men.
But yeah, I guess next week we'll talk board games and stuff like that. Get back to that stuff and get over the Puppet.
See?
You'll love him. You like Muppets, you like him. It's fine.
He's gonna start the next episode with the Muppet in the chair.
I should. Then you're expecting it.
That's why I said it. So now you can't do it.
Yeah.
Also, can I just bounce you from the
Oh.
show? Yeah, I can just bounce him from the show.
Yeah, but it can come back.
Yeah, it's fine. But I'll protect everybody if the Muppet, if the
Protect everybody.
comes
That's ridiculous. How do I lock this so you can't bounce me?
I can.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, telling us about your movies and ones we forgot. And yeah, give us your list in the comments below.
Yeah, what did we forget?
Or even if not, what's your list 1 through 5, like top movie? And you can throw in Star Wars Episode 1 if you want. It's not your rule.
It should be number 1 no matter what. So
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Bounce.
Oh, I almost hit the wrong one. I hit the leave studio and it was like, are you sure? It didn't used to have the are you sure thing.
I hate that it warns you.
I know. Could have made 2 mistakes on one show. All right, I'm out. That's the right button.